Well, a very warm welcome to another vlog. It's been a while. The calf muscle has healed up, I think, nicely enough. And this really is the first test of it. And thank you all so much for your well wishes. I've come down to Killarney again. So this vlog is going to be all about forests, predominantly oak trees. We've Scots pine as well. But these forests in Killarney National Park are the oldest forests that we have here in Ireland and the most extensive old oak forests left in the country. And the colour is just turning. It's not quite there. We're in the last week of September. Mid-October would be more ideal, and I may return again towards mid-October. But for now, what I want to do is to explore the woodlands, to find little spots that I can return to find unique compositions. Because I haven't seen that many woodland images from Killarney National Park. I've already taken an image of some oak leaves as they cover the breadth of 4 trunks of oak trees and the reflections in the river as it passes by. Well, I spent the hour between sunset and darkness exploring the shores of the lake and came across this characterful pine tree and thought it made a good abstract image in the half light. And this time of day, the colours of the landscape and the forest are enriched. So I made my way under the tall pines back to the camper, listening to the bellowing of the deer on the hills above. It's a cool, still morning. I'm here at the Eagle's Nest as I make my way to the Derrycunnihy Woods to explore those woods for woodland photography. And as I mentioned yesterday evening, I hope that's what this vlog is all about. I just caught the last of a very brief splash of sunrise colour on the mountain opposite here. I just captured it in a brief shot, but it wasn't well considered. In a way, when that glimpse of light disappears, it gives you license to relax and to focus in on composition and the beautiful reflection of the hill here in the water. I've filled the frame with the hill and the reflection. And I've looked for foreground and I've included foreground in 1 or 2 images. But the simplicity of the reflection pleases me most. And I really want to bring out, there are hints of golden colour in the tree on the hill. And I might just tease them out a little bit in post-processing to accentuate them. And instead of including a wider landscape, I'll be allowed to do that in post-processing because I fill the frame with the reflections and the wooded hill there at Eagle's Nest. Last night, I woke up a few times to the bellowing, or it's not the bellowing, it's the high-pitched screech of the deer. I think they're Sika deer, and if I'm not mistaken, the Sika deer rut earlier than the red deer here in Killarney and elsewhere, obviously. Little bit of drizzle coming down now, but that's no bad thing if I'm going to enter a woodland and look for shapes and patterns and textures. So I've taken this shot already. I'll put that up. But there it is. Let's move on to the next location. Well, I'm waiting for a splash of light and I can't see any possibility of that happening, because as I look away from the camera here now, it's a grey sky. Look at this tree. Isn't it just magic? And I'm just driving along the road. I pulled in on a little bit of a verge and quite tight to this narrow road, and made my way across the wet heath and a little bit of bog, and up to the knee. It's a little bit wet at the moment, but it's quite solid. I was very conscious of my calf as well, so I'm taking every step very carefully. So I can't do anything about the light, but I've spent a while thinking about the composition. And I'll play a little bit of video of just playing around with the portrait mode and the landscape mode here, putting the tree on the right third or dead center. And I think I've settled on dead center. But if you're in a position like that where there's uncertainty within you, there's no harm in taking a number of images, and then you can revisit it when you get home. Oh, little bit of light. Oh, there is a little bit of light hitting the tree now. So I'm going to get back to taking this photograph. I have the polarizer on. I have the 24 to 120 and I'm at 70 mil. Found a little bit of a rock. I wouldn't mind going out this way, but I'd have to levitate to do that. And that's not happening anytime soon. I have to tap in to my spirituality to facilitate that type of maneuver. So I'm going to take this photograph, we'll put it up there and we'll move on to the next location. Well, another stop by the side of the road, and popped down, saw a little fishing boat by the side of the lake. I worked my way around the edge here with the wellies on, and took a couple of shots. And I'm mindful that we're at the stage of the morning where the light is becoming less appealing, less rich. So when I made my way back after taking those images of the boats looking in this direction, I turned around and noticed the beauty of Carrantoul and the accompanying mountains in that space there, looking out towards the Black Valley, I think it is. And if you'll remember, I took a drive down the Black Valley in a recent video. I think it was March or April of this year. But I took out the 100 to 400 here, and I zoomed in to get a little bit of the reeds, water, just the blue boat that I photographed. There's 3 boats there, and the magical contrast in the mountains behind. Put on the polarizer to enrich the scene, John Hine-esque, if you will. But it's very nice. Boat's very small in the image, but it's all about the majesty of the mountains here, the McGillicuddy Reeks in Killarney National Park. So I'm going to move back up to the van and we'll potter on to the next stop. But there's certainly value in the little pullovers here for 1 or 2 cars on the road that runs from Killarney through Torque Waterfall. We're going to head up now and around to Ladies View. But before I do that, we're going to get to the real theme of this video, which is true woodland photography. So I'm not far from one of my top woods down here that I've put aside. I've never explored it before. So that'll be the next stop. I'm going to do it in the afternoon, maybe look for compositions, as I mentioned before, textures and arrangements of branches and trunks. That's really it. That's forest photography. Really looking forward to the next stop. Well, eventually I found my way into a true woodland, and this is what I've come down to Killarney National Park for. This old giant, still providing life for mosses and ferns, epiphytes. Look at the shape of it. There's dappled sunlight. One tool that's very important for woodland photography. And if you could see what I'm looking at now, it's my tripod legs almost close together. A slight breeze would blow the whole apparatus over now. And then the central column extended to get height, so that I'm excluding as much of that sky as possible and looking down with a wide angle lens at this wonderful, it's probably an oak tree, I'm guessing here now, but isn't it magical? The light isn't perfect. Wouldn't this be wonderful if it was raining and foggy and misty? But nonetheless, I'm going to take this image because this is an exercise as much in taking photographs for now as it is a scouting exercise to find woodland compositions in this very special oak forest in Killarney National Park. Earlier on, as I walked through this amazing and very magical rainforest here in Killarney, I had a beautiful afternoon, but I just had speckled light here and there, and it didn't work for photography. So I just enjoyed the atmosphere. It's a very special place down here, it really is. These are the best woodlands I have seen in Ireland by a long mile. Look, this is like being in Jurassic Park. I'm at Tower Waterfall. And I have Damien Jackson. Damien, thanks for the directions. If you want directions to this epic location, Damien has a video on shooting the falls here and on how to find your way here. And it's not that easy, but once you find the right lay-by, you're good to go. So to describe the scene behind me, because I know it's hard to see because the sun is about to dip down behind Carrantoul in the very distant. And with this particular shot, we're using a very wide angle lens. I've the 24 on, which is just wide enough. And Carrantoul is hardly decipherable in the shot. But what is this wonderful shelf where the river in front of me here falls off and flows down into the upper lake in Killarney, I believe. But the oak trees, the oak trees here are just turning. There's lovely shades of copper in them. I left the 100 to 400 in the car. I thought it would be a bit of a hike up, and I said, I'll save myself on the weight. I wish I had brought it because I need a little bit more than the 120 I have now, but we'll get by. Now, this is a challenging location with regards to the light. At the moment, there's too much dynamic range to shoot it as is. So I'll wait for that sun to drop and for the sky to darken and hopefully to richen up. I can see the bright light hitting the sides of the trees here. And even on the walk up to the waterfall here, I had a stag sika deer and paused right in front of me, crossed the river. I only had the little Osmo tree, it was too wide to capture the shot. But stunning old oak trees here and there, spaced out well, nice for photography, for photographing woodland. So I'm going to turn around and get back to sitting down and enjoying the scene and waiting for that sun to drop. That's a very cool morning, but no mist, as I was hoping for. In all fairness, the weather forecast didn't predict it. It was just my sense of optimism. Was hoping and praying that we'd have layers of mist. From Lady's View here, looking down into the forest that I walked through yesterday afternoon. And I'm not sure what the plan for today is. It's going to be a bright sunny day. I'm going to take this image and let me just explain the image. It's very simple. I noticed an orange glow. I've parked up here overnight. So I've made my way here before sunrise. It's still not at sunrise yet. And I've underexposed the shot to accentuate the shapes of the river and the lakes that extend through the gap there between the hills on the left and right hand side. It's a very simple shot, and I hope that comes out. I was careful with the histogram to ensure that although we had a big bulge towards the darks, that we didn't push up against the line as such. So, so that's the first image of today. Let's see where the day takes us next. finished at Lady's View, I realised there was no cloud and any light would be quite harsh. But when I looked around over the slopes of Carrantoul, I noticed there was quite a lot of cloud hugging the mountain line and sweeping right the way across to my left now. So I've driven up towards Moll's Gap and I pulled over because I realised that light's going to be gone soon. I took the 100 to 400 out of the bag and just relaxed and let the landscape take me in. Zoomed in, took a few panoramas and a few standard shots, just looking for patterns and lines, you know, that intersected, whether they were structural, such as layers of mountains or ridges, or the way the light shaped the contours of the landscape, and tried to make a few images from that. You'll hear a car coming along, and it reminds me of this is the polar opposite of the peace and tranquility that I experienced in the rainforest at Derrycunnihy Woods yesterday. But nonetheless, if the object of the game is to capture images, and it's not to say that I'm not enjoying this, because just to look at the light and the layers here, it's a little bit of magic. So I'll put a few of those shots up there and we'll move on to the next location. Well, not only did I move on to another location, I moved on into another vlog. So join me next week as I tour the Ivera Peninsula, the Ring of Kerry, and take in some epic seascape locations. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and tune in next time. Thanks so much for watching. Until then.